Hi guys, welcome. I'm glad to be here with you. Sorry, I got logged out of my account, so I couldn't go live, which is irritating, and I had to relog in. But I'm here now, so a few minutes late, but I'm glad you're joining me. I got a notification that Facebook comments were being weird, so hopefully that was a lie and you can still comment. If not, you are live also on YouTube, and it looks like those comments are working. So if you're tuning in via Facebook right now, type in a comment and I can see if I can see you. Say Facebook if you're on Facebook, but if you're on YouTube, hi. You can probably chat with me as well. And I am here for your questions. I'm here to answer them. Whatever you want me to talk about, I'm here for. So glad to be here with you. It's in a little bit of a rush. I couldn't get logged in. It's one of those lives. I was going to say it's one of those days, but it's really more like it's one of those, just my life. It's just the way, right? It's just every time things are a little disorganized. It's just the way I roll. So, an email, speaking of disorganized, so some of you may have noticed that you're still waiting for your Common Sense Labs books. So I just have to share with you, I talked about this last week, I'll share it again. Like the amount of anxiety that has been flowing through my body about getting that book into print and into people's hands is high, like really, like a lot of anxiety. But I got word that the printing is completing this week and they're binding the book, and which means because it's all, can't just send you a bunch of pages. They have to put a binding on it. So that's what's happening. And so they have promised me they'll be done by Monday-ish, and that then they will be shipped out, which means shipping should happen next week, which is frustrating on one end because, when they tell you, oh, it's 3 to 4 weeks and it's 4 to 5 weeks, that is frustrating because you're always hoping it's 3, not 4. And instead of 4, it's 5. But not as bad as it could be, I guess. We've already suffered several delays and it's been thrilling. Long story short, an email is going out tomorrow to everybody to let them know. But group emails can be a little bit iffy. And so just letting people know that the books are shipping next week if you pre-ordered. And then from there forward, they will just ship as you order. So there you go. So if you're watching this after that, they will be sent relatively soon after you place an order. All right, good evening. Hello, I've got some comments. So far, all of the comments are from YouTube. So it does look like comments are only working right now on YouTube. Although I do see that you can see me on Facebook. So just letting you know, if you're watching on Facebook, I can't see your comments or questions. I'm not ignoring you. All right. So glad you are here. So if you do want to have me see your comment and or question, head over to YouTube. Thank you, Melissa. I got a super sticker. By the way, if you're watching me on YouTube, like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. I always forget to say that. I am a really bad marketer. Like and subscribe because that is awesome and I would love that. All right. I'm glad. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that, Melissa. All right, guys. What else is going on in the world? Well, so we've covered the book. Nisha and I have been working on our redo of our holiday cookbook. And so once all the Mishigas is fixed up with the Common Sense Labs books, that's the next project that'll be coming out. We have some great recipes in there, so that'll be coming with some announcements next week. And fingers crossed, because books, they're a thing. They're a thing. All right. Hey, Guylaine. So we've got a couple people joining us tonight. It's very exciting to be here with you guys. It's always fun to chat. What else is going on in the world? Pro genealogist says, hi, the other evening you spoke about getting up in the morning and okay. You spoke about getting up in the morning, go outside with sun in your eyes. You said looking through a window won't work. What about contacts? Great question. So contacts are fine. Contacts and glasses, like reading glasses, although most people don't wear their reading glasses to walk around. But distance, if you have glasses, if you wear glasses, like you have to wear glasses for vision or you wear contacts, those are fine. Apparently those are not a problem. and the issue, but you don't want to wear sunglasses. So, and even if you have a UV coating, because a lot of vision correcting glasses that you put a UV coating on them and it helps with glare and things like that, apparently that's fine as well. You still actually get light in around, and the kind of lens that's on your eye for a contact lens apparently does not block very much light. And the issue is light, that you want that light in your eyes. So you can wear your glasses or your contacts. It will be okay. Terry says, Kim, you're my superhero. Oh, Terry, that's so sweet. You've helped me lose so much weight, and now I'm down 168 pounds and no longer considered obese on the BMI scale. If I lived in California, I'd hug you. I would hug you right back. And there's so much less for you to hug now, Terry. And so I'm so happy for you. You've done so much hard work, and I'm happy that I could be any part of your success, because you did that. You did that. All right. Julia asked, any recipes resembling rice pudding? To be honest and say no. There are no recipes in the cookbook resembling rice pudding. But someone who we got here, Melissa has suggested a chia seed pudding, which is probably a good recommendation. I have to admit that I have never been a huge rice pudding person, but I did make something once that I feel like probably sort of resembled rice pudding, which is, you guys know Miracle Noodles? Well, Miracle Noodles make something called Miracle Rice. So Miracle Rice is just very little teeny Miracle Noodles, right? And so you can kind of make a mixture of like some coconut milk or some almond milk and some cream, and you then you want to make that cook that down so it's a little thicker, add the Miracle, drain and rinse the Miracle Rice, add your cinnamon, add those flavors, and I think it'll give you sort of that experience. The Miracle Rice is a little chewier, I will say, than rice, but ultimately I think you'll get some of those flavors. But yeah, I think Miracle Rice might do it. Michelle says, I've been doing the grounding with Sunrise and bare feet in the yard, but the weather is changing. Do you think the benefits are still there with sneakers? Absolutely. I think if you're talking about grounding, no. But if you're talking about the benefit of going outside and getting light in your eyes, absolutely. It's not. So what I'm talking there, I think two separate things are coming up here. There is something called grounding, which has to do with, it's less my knowledge base, but has to do with putting your feet in dirt or natural substance, and something to do with ions is what I hear. That's not what I'm talking about when I was talking about going outside. Now, if you wanted to combine your modalities, great. But just, it's in what I was talking about last week was about getting better sleep. And the first step of getting better sleep was to get outside first thing in the morning after the sun comes up, but not like, don't get up at a crazy hour if that doesn't work for you. But you get up, the sun's already up. I was talking, some people get up before the sun is up, then it won't help. Sun, you're up, the sun's up, you're up, go outside, get light in your eyes. Do not do this barefoot if it is 40 below zero. There's no, the light in your eye thing doesn't have to do anything with barefoot. Now, some people have a barefoot practice that they also do, and so that's fine. But I was not talking about the requirement to be barefoot, if that makes sense, right? It's like the people just layered some things on there. So what I talked about was, if you want to, soon after you wake up, go outside and get light in your eyes for about 10 minutes. If it's really cloudy, maybe even 20. And that's going to help partially reset your circadian clock properly. And so you can wear shoes. Not a problem. Now, if you're asking me, can you wear shoes while doing a grounding practice? I would say that is not my area of expertise, but I don't want anyone getting frostbite. So that's important to me. Dennis said, you were the very best dressed at the conference with Kenberry. That's what you want to hear, right? I mean, I'm vain, so of course I want to hear it. I was pretty happy with that outfit as well. So thank you. I appreciate that. Hopefully I said some good things. Scott said, is the holiday cookbook available? Sorry, I'm late to this party. Scott, it should be next week. So we'll let you know, but it is coming. Steph asked, question, grounding at least 20 minutes on cement, okay? Again, not my area of expertise, but as far as I know about grounding, moccasins are great because that might be a solution, right? They're a natural fiber. Do you call that a fiber? Skin? Not a fiber, a skin. And apparently, I think from my hippie recollection, I am from Berkeley, I'm supposed to know these things, that would be okay for grounding, but cement would be a problem. Again, I'm just talking out of my ear. I'm right now with the grounding thing. I'm as knowledgeable as your aunt, Susie, at Christmas, telling you about something that she knows very little about. Now, if you want to talk about other things in your health journey or food or things like that, I do have knowledge I can share. But right there on the grounding, not my area. All right. B. Fletcher says, is it possible for bubbly to cause my husband's multiple gout attacks? Well, I wouldn't necessarily think they were related. However, if it is the one constant unchanging variable and he gets gout attacks when he drinks bubbly and nothing else in his life is different, I would stop drinking bubbly because, I don't know what ingredient in bubbly might in some way be related to causing those attacks. But like I said, if every single other thing in someone's life is being equal, they add one thing in, the bubbly, and then something bad happens, and then they take that thing out and the bad thing stops happening, I would say you have a pretty good answer that you should probably not do whatever that thing is. So if you find a correlation between the bubbly and the gout attacks, I would stop having it. But I can't say that I am aware of an ingredient in bubbly that I would imagine would lead to a gout attack. But no, what's in there maybe that's just under other ingredients or, some very odd response somebody has. I wonder, does he have the same response to all carbonated beverages? Does he have a response to, this response to other natural flavors? And so, but I would say, yeah, what's that quote? Who am I going to trust? Oh, that's terrible. I can't remember the quote, but it's something about my lion eyes. So it's like, ultimately, if you have evidence and you've looked at everything around it, you're, because humans, we like to find meaning, find connection. That's how we've lived this far, as a species. We're like, oh, when this and this and this happens, that happens, right? We make those connections. Sometimes we make those connections erroneously, right? That's why we have to talk about correlation does not equal causation, right? Because a lot of things happen together, but they don't cause each other. So it might be that your husband always drinks bubbly when he has a certain meal. And then you think, well, it's the bubbly, right? But it's like, oh, maybe it was the meal that he always has when he has the bubbly. So there's a correlation between the bubbly and this other thing, and it's the other thing causing the problem. So, but we always want to really tear apart all the little details that we're putting together to say okay, am I correlating things properly? So there you go. Terry said, at some point, I need to get myself to the gym for some strength training. Do you increase your caloric intake on those days? I remember being more hungry when I was working out. So Terry, you should be entering a period of time where you're looking to be in maintenance soon, right? And what maintenance, I always say maintenance proves itself. So we talk about maintenance like it's a destination, but maintenance is it's an action word. It's a verb, to maintain your weight. And so if you're trying to maintain your weight, what that means is you might be eating more and less, up and down as you're coming into balance with how much food you're eating and how much activity you're exerting. So I would expect if you're at a place where you're happy with your weight and you're just trying to add some muscle, if you're happy with your body fat level right now, I just want to say, and you're trying to add some muscle, your weight will go up, right? Because if you have 40 pounds of fat on your body, I'm just picking a number, 40 pounds of fat on your body, and you have 100 pounds of muscle, it's not muscle, but 100 pounds of lean mass, which is your muscle, your hair, your nails, your bones, right? All that stuff that you don't really want to lose any of, but you're trying to add a little bit of more muscle. So you have 40 pounds of fat and you have 100 pounds of lean mass and you add 5 pounds of muscle. Well, now you have 105 pounds of muscle and 40 pounds of fat. So now you weigh 5 pounds more. You weigh 145 pounds. But you haven't gained any fat. You've actually dropped your body fat percentage. So don't be afraid of a little bit of scale going up when you're trying to add some muscle. That being said, should you be eating more? Terry, you're about to embark on a real adventure around, it's like a whole different world around maintenance and around not trying to lose weight all the time. And I just like to prepare you here a little bit that this will be hard mentally, because when you've been solely focused on seeing the scale go down and you have a fairly easy gauge of success of watching what the scale is doing, when you transition to a time period where you're trying to add some muscle, you're not trying to lose weight anymore, you're not getting the same kind of dopamine hits, you feel kind of new at something with the muscle training, it can be a very destabilizing time from an emotional perspective. And so I just want to put it out there so that you're prepared for that. But it's a very rewarding time and it's going to be the time of your life ultimately. But I just want to say, like, be kind to yourself because it will feel very foreign. So the answer is you're going to be eating a lot more as you're coming out of your weight loss phase and into your more trying to maintain or grow some muscle phase. And so, yeah, you're going to scooch up in the eating and your hunger will ebb and flow and you're going to listen to that a bit and you're going to potentially eat more. One of the things that I would say is if you notice you're very hungry when you're working out, I might say you might be working out in the wrong way. A little bit of increased hunger is totally normal. But if you're just ravenously hungry from working out, I would wonder if you're doing sort of too intense a cardio experience. So so I would definitely look into that. But certainly, if you think about it, when you're working out, you're expending more energy. So it doesn't have to be that on your workout days you eat more. It doesn't have to be like a 1-to-1. It doesn't have to be like, I worked out more, I'm going to eat more. I worked out less, I'm going to eat less. But as your hunger ebbs and flows, you might eat more or less because it's really about averaging out what your body is taking in terms of your energy. But yeah, if you're working out a couple more hours a week versus what you used to be doing in terms of your energy expenditure is going to be higher versus being sedentary, which means you'll need to eat more to maintain your weight. Hopefully that made sense. Karen, I have a histamine issue. What can I take to negate it? Do I just eat low histamine foods or is there a supplement? Honestly, I don't know that there is a supplement that can help, but I would say if you do suffer from histamine intolerance, eating a lower histamine diet can be beneficial. There might be a supplement. I'm just not aware of it. I don't deal with a lot of histamine intolerance. Melissa says, hey, I binged your podcast a couple of weeks ago. They really helped me with self-talk. Awesome. Everybody knows I have a podcast, right? Podcast, Keto Life Support. Check it out. Tested 8-11 with an A1C of 10, been strict. And now my average glucose is 103. Congrats. That's awesome. B. Fletcher says he bought a soda stream a few weeks ago. Didn't have an issue with Zevia or with True Lime Packets. Thank you for the info. Yeah, I would do this. You can use a soda stream without putting the bubbly flavor in it. It would be interesting as an experiment to do the soda stream without the bubbly in it and see if you have an issue or not. And then you could probably say, well, maybe that's not the addition we're going to use. Terry says, good advice. Thank you. One day at a time. Absolutely. It's a whole new world, a new adventure. So, and I think as you come to the end of your weight loss phase, it's great to have a new goal, right? You've had a goal. It's been a very focused goal for many years about wanting to lose the body fat. And now your new goal is going to be about adding muscle or doing something, in the gym or getting stronger or lifting more weight, right? So having a new goal that's not so scale related, I think that's going to be awesome. It's going to be really valuable for you. So I think that's going to be super fun. So Terry, I'm glad that you have that experience coming up for you. Did I tell you guys we got an air fryer? Got an air fryer. It's very exciting. We had to rearrange the whole kitchen so the air fryer would fit, but it did. And I have a very small kitchen. And so there's basically like an area about yay big to prepare food next to the stove. Then there's the fridge. But then on the other side, there's like a countertop that's only like 15, 16 inches deep. That's kind of a long one, but so it's too shallow to work on. And so that's like our appliance hub. So that's where it lives. So yeah, we've been doing a lot of air frying. It's been fun. Heather says, what can cause bloating on keto? So same thing. Well, I mean, anything can cause bloating on anything. So what is bloating? Bloating is generally the distension of the abdomen, right? That abdominal push out, that distension that comes from generally like an upset digestive system. And so that is what most people call bloating. And so you have to think about what can cause bloating. Fermentation is probably the number one cause of bloating. So certain types of fibers ferment. So there are fermentable fibers and non-fermentable fibers. Soluble fibers, have a higher rate of fermentation. Things like inulin, very fermentable. And so it tends to be that these fermentable fibers, what happens in fermentation? If you think about it, if you're like making beer, right? That's a fermentation process, causes bubbles, right? And so when anything ferments, bubbles occur, and that can cause that distension. So generally speaking, that bloating is going to be caused by your body having a strong response to non-digestible fibers that you're eating, or digestible rather. But whatever types of fibers are causing fermentation in your belly. Now, some people experience gut bubbles or other sort of upset stomach issues, not just from fiber. It can be anything that you're just sensitive to. But the number one reason I would say that most people would experience some bloating would be a response to certain vegetables they're eating. And that can change over time. I used to get very bloated if I had very much fiber at all, and now not so much. But then I bought some keto marshmallows the other day. It's a company called Maxmallow. And I thought they would be great for holiday kind of baking. They're very tasty. My boyfriend says they smell awful because they're made from collagen. And he's like, these smell like shoes. But they don't smell them. They're tasty. But I tried a couple, and that night I was like, oh, the gas is bad. So they're made with erythritol. And so that's another thing. A lot of sugar alcohols do cause people gut distension and discomfort. So I don't get it with allulose, but I get it with some other forms, especially of sugar alcohols. And so, you kind of have to look at, so I think the top offenders would be fibers, any certain types of fibers, but especially things like inulin, Jerusalem artichoke, very, very high in the bloaty. And then also things like sugar alcohols, all those things. So if we're looking at things that a lot of people sort of double down on, things like sugar alcohols in the keto world. So it could be that those are bloat causers. Becky says, been stalled since January, lost 75 pounds. I can't talk. Lost 75 pounds before and got off 11 scripts. That is awesome. My dawn phenomenon is still bad, up to 200 most days. Are there some people who just never completely heal? Thanks for asking, Becky. So in terms of when you say, are there some people that never heal? Like, here's what I'm going to say about that is, okay, this is going to be a funny on me story maybe, but I remember like many years ago reading a book about, it was like a romance novel, I think, about like a group of people who were like kind of like vampires because they had, this is a very strange tangent. But they had like some sort of nanos implanted in their system that like healed any damage. But the reality was that they didn't realize that aging is this like, I could probably have told this story so differently and made you think I'm less of a crazy person, by the way. that like aging itself is just damage. I could have just said that, right? Instead of saying that I read this book. But anyway, it's a novel. I'm not saying this is not this it was novel. I'm not suggesting this is scientific. Um but this part is scientific. We're aging. Hello. We're aging every day. And so we're breaking down every day. So when you say like are there some people that just never completely heal? Like we're all going to die. It's just, when in what state, right? So like first I would say like don't be hard on yourself about like did you cause damage? Like I have wrinkles that are never going to go away. I got like a big age spot over here. There just are things that are going to happen as we age, and it may be that for some of us we have caused some level of damage that is not going to get completely reversed. This may be true, but no one gets out of here alive is what I say about being a human, right? And so we just do the best we can with what we got. But there are several things that we can do to progress our improvement. So it's not so much that we just like fix what we broke, right? Like we are a work in progress all the time. And so we're just trying to optimize what we can as much as we can every day, right? And so, the fact that you still have blood sugars in the 200s in the morning would indicate there is some significant degree of insulin resistance still going on. The dawn phenomenon is related to rising cortisol in the morning, which is normal and natural, and some dawn phenomenon is totally normal and natural. But I would be curious, Becky, what's your A1C? What is your, general health like? You say you've been stalled, let's look at why you're stalled. A lot of times when we retain a lot of excess body fat still, that can be part of what kind of has gotten us stuck in terms of our blood sugar numbers. When we have a lot of excess adipose, when we have a lot of excess body fat, sometimes that can interfere with proper blood sugar clearance and how our body responds to things. So I would say, like, I would never think, oh, I am just broken. I would just think, well, there are still some processes going on. One of the things I might ask is, have you had a sleep study? Because if you have something like sleep apnea going on, it may cause your morning blood sugars to be crazy high, and it's related to the quality of your sleep and not actually related at all to what you're eating. And so I would say before we, think, oh, maybe I just can't be fixed. It's just maybe I haven't looked in the right closet, right? I haven't looked under the hood in the right place. So I would do some really comprehensive searching about your health in general, your eating patterns in general, your sleep, your stress, your exercise. Are you getting enough muscle activation to pull glucose into your muscles? There's a lot of things to look at. So are there some people who will never heal completely? Yes. None of us will heal completely. We're all going to die one day, right? We're not getting younger, but we can do the best we can with what we've got at the time and live as healthfully as possible. So hopefully that helped. Terry asked, basket air fryer or shaped like a toaster oven? The toaster oven kind, because we didn't have enough room to keep our toaster and get an air fryer. So we got a combo one. And because my boyfriend still eats bread, likes toast. And then I like to toast things too that aren't necessarily always bread, and we like the idea of the combo. So we got the Breville. And Robin says, stop taking metformin in April because of bad intestinal issues. Less than 20 grams of carbs morning, blood sugar still high in the morning. Looking forward to the day. It's finally lower. Averages in the 130s consistently. Great. So I would say if your average blood sugar is still over 130, the best advice I could give is after each meal, take a 10-minute walk. After each meal, take a 10-minute walk. It doesn't have to be a crazy hard walk. You don't have to be sweaty, but after each meal, 10-minute walk. That will suck glucose into your muscles in a way that your body is not apparently doing on its own. And it will help your blood sugars get lower. And then your average blood sugar will be down. And they found that doing that 10-minute walk after each meal can deliver similar results to taking metformin. And since you can't take metformin, that could be beneficial. So everyone can do this 10-minute walk after every meal. And if it's raining, you can do things like air squats, chair squats, jumping jacks, walking up and down the stairs inside. It doesn't have to be outside. If it's not raining, go outside. Heather asked, is baking powder okay to eat on keto? Generally, it does have cornstarch in it, but a small amount. I'm really not worried about it. I don't think it's a problem. But if you're allergic to corn, then you probably want to avoid it. But that has nothing to do with whether it's keto or not. And you probably already know that if you're allergic to corn. Docs and Gal says, trying to maintain my current goal weight has been a mental challenge because I feel like it is because I feel all is well with the world when my numbers on my scale are perfect, but weight fluctuates. Yeah, you shouldn't have a goal weight. You should have a goal weight range, and you should be aware of how much scale weight can fluctuate just based on, did you have some extra sodium yesterday? Did you walk more? Did you have a hard workout? All sorts of things. So yeah, don't ever beat yourself up over bodies bodying, because body's going to body. That's what bodies do. And then I would say, Docs and Gal, you have a fabulous opportunity to look at the ways in which you attach your value to your weight. Maybe start to decondition some of those thought patterns so that you can start to attach value to who you are, not about what your scale says. So yeah. Roz says, I'm carnivore right now. Got sick 2 weeks ago, put on antibiotics last week. It's best in my gut. How can I restore my gut microbiome? Time. How can I know you said, how can I quickly do it? But I would say, here's the issue, right? If our gut microbiome sort of lines itself up with the way that we're eating. And so anytime you drastically change your eating pattern, you're going to have gastrointestinal switches because of that. So while if somebody was eating a mixed diet, I might say to them, hey, probably introducing more fermented foods like sauerkraut is going to help you when you are trying to reset your gut microbiome. It does seem to have some help with some prebiotic populations. But you've been carnivore. So that's a complete departure and probably going to cause more gut discomfort than you want, right? And that's not necessarily how you're trying to populate it. So I would say give it time, but probably for you, I would say bone broth and additional collagen. Those are both mostly bone broth because it has a lot of collagen, but collagen can be helpful for the gut microbiome because it is a fiber to the gut. And so I would say collagen would be my best, and time, patience. Yeah. And also the other part about having a healthy gut is stress, not more stress, less stress. So meditation, taking walks, doing things that bring your nervous system down into a calmer place. So getting your stress level lowered. Those are all going to be very helpful in terms of a healthier gut environment. B.A. Beckner says, what do I think of charcoal tablets? I think if you've eaten something truly nasty, it's probably not a bad idea. If you're ever in the hospital for alcohol poisoning, they're going to give you charcoal tablets. I think they're a terrible idea on a regular basis because they will bind to nutrients in your food and you will just poop those nutrients out instead of absorbing them. Because what charcoal does is binds to whatever's in your digestive tract so that it's less likely to poison you. And so, if you're somebody that drinks Pepto-Bismol regularly, as I did once upon a time when my stomach was always upset, you're actually at risk for suffering some nutrient deficiencies because that charcoal is going to bind to some of your vitamins and minerals, causing them not to be absorbed as you want them to be. So I'm fine with charcoal tablets to treat something acute, but I would not be taking them on the regular. Yeah. Becky said, do I still need to lose, still need to lose 80 pounds, lots of lower belly fat, sleep sucks. That's a tongue twister. High stress life. Oh, had most of the blood work for my book, 6.8 A1C down from 9. All right. So your morning blood sugars are actually in alignment a bit. They're a little high, but not crazy. You're still basically diabetic, right? So it's going to take time. And one thing that you asked, is there some people that it just takes time to fix? And are there some people that just can't be helped? There are some people that do have, I would say, ongoing pancreatic insufficiency, which means that their pancreas has been damaged by sort of their lifestyle over the years. And a bout of pancreatitis can damage your pancreas to the point it doesn't make enough insulin anymore. So it is possible, that some people do have damage to their pancreas to a degree that will never completely go away. I mean, a type 1 diabetic has damage to their pancreas that is permanent, right? And so I'd never like to think of that as, something to be regretful about. We can only move forward. So I would definitely keep track, Becky, if your sleep is terrible and your life stress is high, excuse me, dry, then those are things to work on. And I'm not like, don't be so stressed out, right? Like somebody yelling at you, stop stressing out, is like, oh, that's helpful. But what I am saying is I can't reduce the stress in your life, but I can tell you that you can actually change your response a bit to the stress in terms of meditation, journaling, therapy, hot showers, taking walks, like reducing your body's automatic response to that stress. All those things can help bring down blood glucose a lot. But like the highest blood glucose goes all day, and some people is, their drive home, their commute, not their commute, right? So stress can be a huge driver of A1C staying elevated, of blood glucose staying elevated. And so I think food is so central to our healing journey. Everybody, I would never say that it isn't. However, I think there are a lot of people that just keep staring at the food, not understanding why they're not getting better when their sleep sucks and their life stress is high, right? And that can be just as impactful. Now, most people, when their sleep sucks and their life stress is high, are also having all sorts of crap food because it's a coping mechanism. I might be speaking about my life in the past, right? But even getting your food in alignment, that's going to help a ton. But if the rest of your life is a total mess, your health's still not going to be great. It'll be better, but not great. Hey, Kim Bassett, thank you so much for the super fan contribution. I really appreciate it. If you guys don't know, you can donate money to me on YouTube just to thank me for doing the lives. I do them for free so that everyone can get the benefit. But if you feel the desire to contribute to the cause, I'm always happy to receive a gift, and I really appreciate it, Kim. From one Kim to another. There are not that many of us. Has anyone met a Kim under the age of 10, 20? Not that many. I think Kim Kardashian's like the youngest Kim I know. I don't know. It's a 70s name. It's definitely a 70s and 80s name. Anyway. All right. So that's what we had so far today. I'll take one or two more questions before I sign off for the night. I'm going to make chicken nuggets in the air fryer tonight. What I'm going to do, I got some ground chicken. I'm going to make it into little patties, and then I'm going to roll it in some Quest chips as the breading. I was like, oh, I think that'd be tasty. So I saw that somewhere, and I thought, oh, I'll try it. Yeah, Quest chips are a little junk foody, but they're pretty low carb and they're not super horrible. So we're going to try it, right? Healthier junk food. Anyway, Deb. Hey, Deb. So I have a Deb cousin. She's a Deborah. Well, so you probably found this is the progression. Legally, she's a Deborah. Her childhood, we all called her Debbie, and then as a teen, she went to Deb. So my mom still calls her Debbie, but I call her Debbie. She's my older cousin. You know, that cousin you look up to, and Deb is we're steps. So my oldest cousin is four. It's like almost 3 3/4 years. So there's Rick, then there's Deb, then there's Michael, my brother, then there's me. So we're just steps, and we lived a block away from each other growing up. And so yes, Deb would be over 50 as well. Yes, yes. My brother's about to turn 50, so I'm going to be the only cousin under 50 after this year for a little while. Just a short while. Anyway, Docs and Gal says, do I do Patreon? You know what? I actually set up a Patreon once upon a time, but I actually haven't done anything with it. So, I think you can sign up to give me money on Patreon. There are honestly no perks available. So, I've been thinking about taking the Patreon down because there's just so many things to keep up with. Honestly, I feel like if people want to contribute to funding my cause, I would love them to buy a cookbook or something like that. I do not have Patreon. Well, really, Terry, young whippersnappers. Yeah. I'm the baby of. Well, that's not technically true. So I'm sure you're all very interested in my family. But there's 4 of us in a row that are my mom and her sister had. So we're cousins. And then there are 2 younger than me that are second cousins. But, there aren't that many cousins in my generation. So so they count too. They went on vacation with us too. Right. And then my dad had cousins who would also, so I know them, but there are I only have 2, I have 1 brother and 2 first generation cousins. And then Jared and Rochelle's older than me. Anyway, but everyone had boy and a girl. So there's a pair of boy girl siblings from each parent. So we're all very fond of each other, but we are all over. Oh, thanks, Becky. Becky has given me a super sticker. Appreciate it. Docs and Gal says chicken thighs with Redmond seasoning are so yummy in the air fryer. Oh, I'll have to try that. So far, I've done, what have I done so far? I've done kabocha squash, which is one of my favorite foods. I did a little sliced kabocha. I did some zucchini. I did eggplant. I did chicken. That was good. I brined the chicken breast for the first time in my life. It was delicious. I did chicken, which was really good. That's what we've done so far. I had some pepperoni for a recipe. So I tried some pepperoni chips. That was fun. We have not even used the oven at all. So there you go. Amy says, you're awesome, Kim. The information you engage is great. Please keep it up. Thanks so much, Amy. I really appreciate it. I'm happy to help with anything you guys need. So we'll keep doing this, right? All right, guys, I'm going to call it an evening. But thank you for joining me tonight on this live. I wish you all a great week, and I will see you next week. Bye.